packs my food so wonderfully. I just love it. So it's the basics. I love this cloudy, rainy, give it all to me.
There's something really great about being able to sit on your back patio and not melt.
Yep.
So I'm super thankful for that. Awesome. Who else is grateful for something?
Well, for me, I have finished all my treatments. I remain at stage 0. And contrary to what everything on the internet said, even though I started my hormone blockers, my husband is very happy that I have not turned into a bitch at this point.
I'm just going to get in his camp and say, I think we're all grateful for that.
Yes, yeah. I would tell you what our safe word is, but I can't say it since this is being recorded.
Okay, well, we're just going to trust that things are good. That's awesome. Who else is grateful for something? Oh, don't make me give you the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 already.
I'll go.
There you go.
Some of you guys are gonna be like, seriously, I wake up at that time every day, but I accidentally woke up at 5:30 this morning, and it was like so nice outside. I haven't been on a walk in the morning, like before starting the day, in a very long time. So it was amazing. And I feel like my day is gonna be better because of it. So
oh, good for you. I want you to text me right before you go to bed. I'm so curious how early you'll go to bed tonight.
I knock out early. Oh my God, these days I knock out early. But yeah, it'll be a lot earlier than usual.
I love it. Good for you.
You cracked me up, Sabrina. Accidentally woke up at 5:30.
Yeah, I was like, you guys are gonna laugh because half the people on this call probably get up at 4 a.m. like Bernie and go to Orange Theory.
And then there's the other half of us that go, no, thank you.
I'm with that group.
Samesies. Love that. All right. Anybody else thankful for anything today?
I'm thankful for coffee.
Oh, that works out. Are you a caffeine fiend? All right, everybody raise your coffee cups to cheers to Dave. Here's my water. Oh, that looks green, Bernie. Oh.
Yeah.
You should put yours down. I love it.
I'm grateful for a busy season. I just paid off all of my consumer debt this week. So
wow.
So
yay, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's really, really big. There's some freedom in that gratitude. I love that.
Yeah, now I get to start saving up for a wedding in February.
There you go. You can fast track that. You fast track the debt. That's awesome.
You got it. You got it.
That a girl. Way to go. I love
it. I'm thankful I paid off Emily's wedding with real stuff that came.
Oh, bomb diggity. Look at you. When's the wedding?
January 23rd.
Which one?
January 23rd. Next year.
January 23rd. That's my Hudson's birthday. Yay. Paid off already. And we're not even there. Actually, I think what you just said is you prepaid it because you don't know what you don't know until the week before. So keep saving.
Yeah, she told me there's an extra 50 people coming, so life is good. Okay, cool.
There you go. Allow me to be the encourager this morning. I love it. Oh, it's super funny. Well, good for you. Congratulations. That's a big deal. All right. Anybody else grateful?
I'm grateful to be connecting with new people.
Yeah, Mario is new to Real. He's been here just a little under a month. He's getting close to a month. So I had the opportunity to meet him at the Real event. We saw each other and then we met in person. We had a phone call and then we met in person on Friday. And so I invited him to come hang out. So, make me proud, people. It's good. Happy to have you. Okay. Anybody else? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm super happy you're here. I am actually really excited you're here because I'm going to share something today that has just been ruminating in my head for probably the last maybe 2 or 3 months. And I just keep kind of living life and taking notes and writing little things. And I've been putting together, like, how can I help people with this? And so in a few minutes, I'm going to launch into that. But before that happens, I know I saw her you're right. You're right beside me up here on my screen. Andrea's here. So I want to see if Andrea has anything she wants to share today.
Guys, good morning. Welcome, everybody. I just hope that everyone is available to join us next week. Sabrina and I are going to spend some time with you guys. We are going to be recapping highlights from Tom Ferry that just took place last month at the summit. There are some really good takeaways, and we can't wait to share with you some of the key insights. We're also going to be going over with you the new Live In Here. It's a powerful tool with amazing benefits for both you and your customers. So lots of good information there, and it's going to be a really valuable meeting next week. So hope to see you all there.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you guys all being here. I don't have any announcements with the exception of For Real Rise is coming November 3, 4, and 5. It's in Orlando. So if you have an interest in attending that, let me know. If you need to get a ticket, I know that there's a few people who are still who bought tickets last year. So they got them at the reduced rate and are happy to pass on those savings to you because they are unable to attend. So if you need that, just reach out to me and I'll connect you with the people. If you are one of those people that has tickets and needs to get rid of them, let me know so I can make sure I add you to my list of referral people. Okay, whew, boy. All right, I'm gonna get right into it if you are okay with that, unless anybody has anything else they need to share. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I'm just gonna rock it out today. I'm gonna talk to you about time, and for a lot of years I've taught about time blocking, and I think it falls on deaf ears most of the time. I think people are like, well, I've heard that before, and it's boring, and I'm not really interested. So I'm just giving you a heads up. We're not talking about time blocking. So get that out of your head that, oh, this is going to be boring and I'm going to have to look like I'm interested because my camera's on. So I'm just going to say, let it go, let it go, let it go. And let's go to a place where I need each of you to have literal paper, pencil, and your phone, or paper, pencil, and your phone, because I'm going to have you do some math today. So don't get scared on that one. It's just simple plus and minus math. You can handle it. There's a couple of multiplications in there. We'll figure it out, but it's not the new math. It's not core math. It's like real math that all of us actually know how to do. This core math nonsense, that's another story. But I do want to have you like literally, I'm going to look at my phone a lot. It's in front of me because I have my calculations and I want the information to be completely accurate. So I'm going to just let you get a chance to get all that in front of you. And then we will get to our math equations down the road a little bit here. So I want a couple of starting questions is, when you think about time, like how significant is the element of time to you? And by the way, this is an all open mic discussion. There's no bars held. Everybody feel free to jump in and share. But how significant is time?
Well, considering it's very fleeting, it's very significant. Like, we're all given the same amount of hours in a day, but nobody knows how many days we're given.
Okay, that might be the end cap. So write that down because I'm going to ask you to say that again at the very end of today because you just encapsulated everything we're going to talk about. Way to go, girl. Love it. So how significant is time to you? Jaylene, I see your hand. I don't even know how to do that. So that's really impressive, but you're still muted. There you go.
You know how to do it either. I don't even know why. Lower hand. How did they even do that?
Magic.
It is magic. You know, time is just something that, you know, I look back at my 40s and now I'm in my early 50s and I'm like, it's just, you know, there's nothing worse than the Cutco. I remember this. Cutco's mantra sales line is that you may be gone, but the knives will be here for generations to hand down. And I'm like, when I heard that the first time I went, that is the worst sales pitch I've ever heard, but it's true. Like, you got to use your time correctly, I guess.
That's good. That's good.
No one's here's on here a Cutco sales rep, right? Nope. If they,
I think you're free. That's cute. All right. How significant is time?
I'm going to jump in here with a little like currently happening personal story, and I won't take up too much time. About a month and a week ago, my aunt got into a really bad motorcycle accident and has been in recovery. She's still in the hospital. Can't say more than a few words at a time. Like, it's pretty bad. But she was super close to retiring. She almost had her house paid off. She, was financially like in a really good place and about to really just open up her life to fully being retired and really enjoying what life has to offer. And unfortunately, we're not promised tomorrow. So all of that right now is currently kind of down the drain, where we had to fold her business because we couldn't maintain it while also trying to just take care of her. And so time is the one thing that we have a finite amount of, and you don't know when that time runs out.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
So time is pretty significant, right? In a very meaningful and personal way right now, right? It's been brought to the highlight for your family. I'm sorry for your family, and we will continue to pray for your family and for your auntie. So it brings me to my next question, like, how purposefully should we be living? How purposefully should we be spending our time? And that's kind of not really, it's one of those things I think we think about, and then it kind of gets a little overwhelming because then we feel like all of these really important things that we need to do, and the list is huge. So then we don't know where to start. So then we go watch TV, or we binge on Netflix, or we, go for a walk and just try to let it settle. But I don't know how much we activate based on this kind of deep thought, because none of us understands it. We don't understand really. I mean, we can see these life examples, and we've experienced, maybe some of us have experienced life and death moments. We've seen, we've ushered people into death, right? Family members or friends into death. We know that there is a finite amount of time. And so then I say, okay, well then if that's too overwhelming, what if we just kind of bottleneck it a little bit and we say, like, okay, if you knew you had 24 hours to live, what are you going to do in those 24 hours? And sometimes you can just do it through negative clarity, right? Like, we can do it through, well, I'm not going to do the laundry. I'm not going to do the dishes. I'm not going to sweep the floor. Like, I know all the things I'm not going to do. And then we sift through that and go, okay, well, what are we going to do? So if you had like 24 hours, literally, if you knew that tomorrow at 10:17, 10:18 was your last breath, what would you be doing? And it's okay if you say you'd click off of this thing. I get it, because so would I. So we're going to just leave that one alone so nobody hurts my feelings. I'll hurt my feelings by myself. But if you knew you had literal 24 hours to go, what things bubble to the top?
Immediately for me,
Time with
time with
family.
my family.
There you go. Everybody say it together. Family.
Family.
All right. So we know that that's true, right? And I'm hard pressed to think that there's anything else, right? I mean, for me, it's family. I don't think I care about anything else. I would want to make sure things were in order, that it was organized for them so that my passing isn't, a burden for them. But to me, that would mean, cleaning up my desk and like those seem trivial. So that's not even, you know what I mean? Like, you start sifting through this stuff and you go, okay, well, wait a minute. If I knew I had 24 hours to live, I'd spend all my time with them. So how realistic that you can spend all of your time, all of the time with your family members?
Slim.
Yeah, it's not. It's literally, it's not going to happen. I won't say it's impossible, but I'm saying it's just not going to happen as a general rule. So I'm going to do some fun. This is where you're going to get your math out, and or your paper and pen out. We're going to do some math. So let's calculate the number of years, months, and weeks you have left in your life. Now, I know it sounds like Debbie Downer, but I'm not doing that. I don't think there's a death sentence on here. This is not some weird omen. This is like, hey, we're going to play the law of averages in this, and we're going to take a look, and we're going to say, okay, people who are alive right now, the numbers are different based on your age and all of that. So I'm not going to get that crazy, but based on societal norms, environment, culture, all of those things, for Americans, the life expectancy for women who are alive right now is 82 years old. For men, yours is 78. Okay, so if you're a man, write 78. If you're a woman, write 82. Okay, so now you're going to take your current age and you're going to subtract it from that number. Then You're going to multiply that times 12 to get the months. And then you're going to multiply that by 52 to get the weeks. Okay. If you have it, give me a thumbs up, look at me, make sure, because I can't leave anybody behind on here. You got to be in. If you don't have your camera on, open your mic and say, I got it. We're good to go. Give me something.
Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
All right. Look at your little happy voices. Some of you sounded happier than others, by the way.
That's because some
All
of
right.
us are older.
It's a little crazy, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little sobering. So I don't want you to get stuck in this spot because I'm just going to make your day so much better as we get going. So the standard year. So I'm going to work in years, but I wanted you to have the years, months, and weeks so you could kind of think about this. But we're going to go to the standard year. It's not counting the leap year. So if you want to if you're that guy, you can work this out on your own, how many leap years you have left or whatever. That's on you. But I'm just going to say a standard year has 365 days and there are 24 hours in a day, correct? Everybody agrees on that. So here's how many, it's 8,000. This is a number you need to write down, 8,760 hours in 1 year. Okay. The average sleep per day that everybody gets is between 7 and 8. I'm going to use 8 because some of you sleep till noon and some of you are up at 4. So we're just going to wing this and we're going to say that it's 8 hours. So when I do the calculation of 8 hours a day times 365, that is 2,920 hours of sleep a year.
Say that again, 2000 what?
2,920 hours of sleep per year. Okay. Then eating, because I'm like, let's just get the basics. Eating, sleeping, and working is where we're going. Okay. So eating, I don't know who only eats for an hour and a half a day, but they say that that's the average. And I'm like, an hour and a half a day. I'm sure it's more than that for me, but I like their number better because otherwise I'll be shamed. So I'm going to use an hour and a half times 365. That gives us 547 and a half hours a year of eating. That was humiliating enough. And I think it's actually more, but I'm just going to stick to that. All right. So 547 and a half hours eating. Then if I go to working, the average work year is for a 40-hour work week is 2,080 hours. Okay. So if I take the total of sleeping and eating, and that's 3,468 plus 2,080 is 5,548. Okay, last part of the math gig. Remember I said there's only 8,760 hours in a year. So take 8,760 and subtract 5,548 because that's eating, sleeping, and working. Everybody come up with 3,212? Or at least some of you? All right. Yeah. We should have 3,212 hours a year that we would consider discretionary time. Now go back to that number of how many years you have left based on your current age and life expectancy. That's your discretionary time. Okay. So now you can take this as granularly as you want to, but I'm just going to take an overview, kind of bird's eye view. I wanted to give you the real numbers and then you go play with it and figure out how many hours a week, day, year, month, whatever you want to figure out that you have in discretionary time, because all of the things that are your priority need to get happening in that time. Right. So we talked about our family. Some of the other things we didn't talk about, like our own mental health, our family time, hobbies or habits or things that you enjoy doing, things that you want to explore and discover, right? All of those things fit into that category of discretionary time. So when you look at that, give me your emotional response to seeing that number of hours left in your life just to play or do whatever. What do you
Not
think?
enough.
Not
Not
enough.
enough.
What is that number for you?
Well, I didn't get to finish the
Sorry.
calculation. So you did the 82 years average. I'm 58. That leaves me 24 years left. Times that by 12, 288. Times that by 52 is weeks, is 14,976. Then doing your math and getting down to, we have 13 hours of discretionary time. That's where I ended. What am I supposed to do with that discretionary?
Times the number of years. So for you, that number times 24.
The 14,000 times 24?
No, the 3212
Okay, go ahead.
times 24.
Okay.
That's how many hours you have left of discretionary time.
That is still way too little.
What's your number?
77,112.
All right, 77,112. I'm just going to use you for a second. You have 7,700 hours, because I can do the math easier on that one, left to choose what you want to do with your time. Right?
Yeah.
Seems like a huge number. And then if we start breaking it down by year and by month and by day, it starts shrinking. So here's what we know. Time is finite, right? Can we agree that there is a limited amount of time? There are only 24 hours in the day, right? There are only 7 days a week. There are only 4.3 weeks in a month. There are only 12 months out of the year. The number of years, that's the infinite number seemingly, but it has a finite line for each one of us. Everybody clear on that? I know this is a little, I don't know, out there maybe in thinking, but the reason that I want to bring this to your attention is we live in this industry with an opportunity to like maximize our work hours so that that number we just got to is expanded. We do not have to work 90 hours a week or 40 hours a week. We just have to work X number of hours a week really smartly so that we can be smart over here and add more to our 7,700 hours. Because the smarter that we work and the more we control what we do with our time, then the more time we have to put in this other bucket that is the priority bucket. So are we all on the same page for that?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the number of hours sleeping and the number of hours working and the number of hours eating, I honestly would say that my number of hours eating, sadly, would be higher than that. My sleep is much less than that. I don't ever sleep 8 hours a day. I mean, if I sleep 8-hour days, I'm probably close to death because I just don't sleep like that. Right? Like I sleep between 5 and 6 hours a night and feel really good and healthy about it. So I'm getting more in my bucket, my priority bucket, because I've taken away from my sleep. I'm not encouraging you to do that, by the way, if it's not healthy for you. So just know what your healthy piece is. For me, I feel, I mean, if I get 6 hours of sleep a night, I feel like a rock star. So God, I can't even imagine what 8 hours would do. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep until the next day. So for me, I know that I have more hours out of my sleep bucket into my discretionary bucket. If I'm working, if I'm looking at eating, I know that I have to take some of those hours back and put them in the eating column because I think it takes me longer than an hour and a half to eat every day. And maybe it's not just I'm actually eating that long, but it's the process of eating, cooking and eating with my family and talking. Like dinner is always over an hour. So I'm like, and that's just family time for us. So I know that I'm sucking back some of that. Maybe I could justify it and say some of my eating time is that discretionary time, but I'm just going to go with eating. So I'm going to suck some of that back. My working time seems to be the only true one in this industry who are not punching a clock where we can make better decisions. And so I told you I was going to talk about time blocking. That's not the topic of it, but I didn't say I wouldn't include it. So I'm just going to say that if you look at your clock, your calendar, and you look at your bank account, I could tell you what your priorities in your life are. So you could say my priorities in my life are my family, my church, my work, my neighbors, my whatever. But if I took 30 days of your bank registry and I took your calendar where you have been putting everything in your calendar, if I took those two things, I could tell you what your priorities really are, because the way we understand priorities is actually how we spend our time and what we're doing. So if your priority is to build a strong, sustainable business, does your checkbook and does your calendar reflect that? If your priority is to grow your business, by 3x this year, does your calendar and does your checkbook show that? I think we're missing some really, really viable benefits in our life and the blessings that we have in this industry to be able to control how much more time we put in our priority bucket. And I think we don't do it. I think we waste a lot of time just randomly because we'd rather be distracted than doing the work. Oh, I should do this, I should do that. And then I think sometimes we sit down and we're doing our work, but we're not doing it the smartest, most efficient way. We're just digging through things. And then I think what happens is it starts to feel like a chore. It becomes less interesting. It becomes less motivating. So now I have this distraction thing. So I'm going to ask you, like, how much of your discretionary time are you committing to distraction? And how much of your work time are you committing to distraction? I doubt we're very distracted when we're eating. We're probably not very distracted when we're sleeping. But I'll bet you working and discretionary time, we're distracted. So if I were to add a fifth bucket to this of distraction, how much would I pull out of the other four buckets, eating, sleeping, working, and discretionary time, to put in distraction? Because I'm willing to bet a good portion of these four lands over here. Am I the only guy?
No, totally.
Just me by myself in my my distracted island,
I'm
right?
right.
Okay, so if you're going to be really honest with yourself, take a little bit of a look for a second. How many of you have trouble sleeping? How many of you fall asleep and then you wake up and your brain just keeps burning and churning?
Yep.
Okay, you're the only one. She's not the only one. There we go. There's the truth. Here, it's bleeding through my screen. Here we go. I love it. All right. So you're not the only one. So when you fall asleep and then you wake up and then maybe you're lucky to get back to sleep, right?
Maybe.
How good is your sleep?
Terrible.
Waking up feeling rested and ready to go? No. I know the answer for everybody. It's just not true. So your body needs something more, and we can talk about that another time. But okay, so let's just say that some of your sleep time has now been moved over here to the distraction bucket, because now you're processing things, you're thinking about things. But let me ask you something. Outside of family things, because none of us can control what happens in our family. Things happen with our family members, and that carries a burden on us. I get that. We can't control that. I'm going to move that away. But let's just talk about how much of your sleep is interrupted because of the work that you do or the client people you're connected to. Some, a lot, almost all of it.
A little, honestly.
Okay. Open your mics, guys.
Yeah, I
A
always
lot?
liken it
Say
to
again.
sometimes it feels like we're having an affair.
Yeah.
And so what happens when our phone rings or when we wake up and we're thinking about it, it takes us away from what we were doing, whether that was sleeping or whatever. But that impacts not just us, but our family, because it feels like this business can be something, if we don't control it, that takes us away from that family time, that eating time.
Do you guys think that a lot of what you are waking up in the night for is because you haven't gotten resolution on something? Like something isn't solved. Is that fair? Yeah. So here's the good news for you. It's super normal. You can train your brain to solve problems in the night while you sleep. That's the more important piece than trying to solve them by waking up in the middle of the night and trying to solve them. And so I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so we're even distracted in our sleep. Right? This is a picture, you guys, of how out of control, honestly, our life is. something to help control. Sorry?
Control is an illusion.
100%. But we think we have it, right? We believe the illusion. We think I'm totally in control of this, when the truth is we're not in control. And so that's a very valid point, because that's where I'm like, okay, we have this weirdo sensation of we should be able to control everything. So the first thing about understanding all your buckets of time is understanding that you don't actually control any of them. And by the way, we don't even control the whatchamacallit, life expectancy, right? That's the averages, that's the general, but we don't have any control over that. You know, when your day's done, your day's done. That's the click, right? We don't know when it's going to happen for anybody. So what we can do, instead of feeling hopeless or helpless about that, is maximize the opportunity that we have. And so by maximizing the opportunity, let's look at work for a minute, because, well, let's start with work. How much of your schedule do you honestly, truly believe in your heart of heart you can control and or regulate? Because this business is weird, right? Business is the money happens when the phone rings. And I'm doing everything I can in the meantime, to make the phone ring, so I can do the work to make the phone ring, so I can do the work to make the phone ring. So how much are you subject to, I live and die by this thing ringing?
I really hate the thought of that.
It's brutal.
A lot of us are trained like Pavlov's dog with that. Phone
Say
rings.
that again.
A lot of us are trained like Pavlov's dog. It's like the phone rings, we answer. And realistically, in my experience, the more urgent the person is on the other end of the phone, the less likely they are to ever do business with us.
Well, that's good insight. Your emergency is not my emergency, right? Yeah, it's good. Here's what I'm going to say about scheduling and time blocking. And it seems like a juxtaposition sort of statement, but the more you control your schedule and regulate your schedule, the more freedom you have. And if you can discipline yourself to schedule your calendar, you're giving yourself more freedom, so that when you get that panicked call, listen, honestly, in this real estate business, is there any emergency? Truly. No. Is there any like mind shattering? I mean, it is so, Susan's right, so minuscule that there is actually a super emergency. I mean, if your house is on fire and the listing agent, I mean, the neighbor calls the listing agent to say, hey, the house is burning down. Okay, I don't know why you're calling me. Why didn't you call 911? But let's go there, right? Like, but there are very few times that there are actual emergencies that have to be responded to and solved instantly. I literally can't come up with one that has to be solved instantly. Now, that doesn't give you permission to ignore and not communicate outside of your scheduled work time. But if you can get it in your head that from 8 to 9, I do this without fail 3 times a week. You don't have to do it every day, but 3 times a week. You don't have to be this like so regimented that you feel imprisoned to your calendar. But you should be regimented enough where you have freedom in your calendar. And what I mean by that is, hey, I have allotted an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours for deep thought, deep work, creative work, email stuff, like whatever your thing is, contract work, marketing work. If you look at your weekly calendar, and some tasks, by the way, need to be done monthly, some tasks need to be done weekly, and some tasks need to be done daily. Write those all out on some sort of chart for you, and then figure out in your monthly calendar how you're going to fit that in and where you're going to put it. Because not everything needs to be done all in one day, and not everything needs to be done every day. I think we don't hear this a lot in our conversations with people who are talking about time management, and it's just this drill thing. And no, it's not. Create freedom. Hey, listen, if sitting down and having peaceful coffee at 10 a.m. is super important to you, then do it. But don't stay there till 2 in the afternoon. Get it? This is a get it, got it good moment.
Yeah, honestly, just listening, what you just said, it just gave me a little epiphany of, I've always been the time blocking. I can't time block. It's so hard for me, right? That's also my own mindset of get out of my own way, right? I need to get out of my, but listening to you talk and thinking about in my life how that fits, I already do it. So why can't I do it more effectively with other things? I already come here every Monday at 10. I already go to my prayer chair at 8:15 every morning. I already, the last day of the month, sit in front of my computer first thing in the morning, well, after my 8:15, and log my mileage in my hurdler. So if I can have those things as part of my regimented schedule, why can't I do more things that could be productive for me?
So in doing those things, do you feel controlled and trapped and limited and bound?
No, I actually feel not released. It's comforted. I
Sure.
feel safe. It feels good.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to
But it
describe
doesn't, what it doesn't do is it doesn't feel limiting.
It doesn't cause me stress.
Right. So it allows you to be free, knowing you can do these things because this is part of what you have designed as your day, right? Your schedule, your structure. So I think when we talk about like how we're looking at our calendar, like I literally put everything in my calendar. I put grocery shopping in my calendar. I put laundry in my calendar. I put my work meetings in my calendar. I put events that I need to go to in my calendar. I put when I'm picking up grandkids. I put when I'm having lunch or dinner with one of my kids. I mean, I put everything, what I'm doing with my friends, any kind of travel. I put everything in my calendar. Number one, I have one source to go to keep my life organized. So if I have travel information and I have flight stuff, I send it to my calendar. So it sends in my calendar, it has my flight time, date, and my whatever that number is, confirmation number. It has everything in there. So when I go on the day of travel or the day before, I go, oh, I got to remember to check in 24 hours before or whatever. So then I go put that in my calendar. Give me that notification 24 hours before. My whole life lives by my calendar and I have so much freedom. It's ridiculous. When somebody calls me and says, hey, we need to get together, you know what I can say? Here's my Calendly link, because if it's not my calendar, it's not going to happen. And I have an automated message that I type in the little letters CCC, which stands for calendar, calendar, calendar. And I send that and I hit it and it says, hey, this is my Calendly link. This way you can schedule something that works best for your schedule. You know what I've done on the Calendly app? I've gone in and I have a limited number of hours that I'm committing to letting people interrupt my life, right? For whatever reason. They can't. It's not a 24/7 calendar. It's Monday, by the way. If you tried to go book something on Monday, you're never going to get anything before 11 a.m. You know why? Because I'm not letting you. I don't want to be distracted before I come to Lions and Legends. So I want to get calls or appointments that I want to dictate done Monday morning before I get on Lions and Legends. So you're not getting it. When I know I have days to pick up my grandkids, I make an appointment in my calendar. You're not going to interrupt that. I'm not going to be distracted. I have so much freedom. I can send out my calendar link and say, knock yourself out, find something that works for you.
You'll have to teach me how to use that calendar
It's
link.
free and it's easy. Two of my favorite words, but not in all categories. Let me just put it that way. But I'm just saying, like, those are super easy things to do, right? So now I have freedom. When you say, hey, Kim, let's get together, I go, bam, 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 CCC, send. And it says, hey, knock yourself out. You book something and then you say, gosh, it's only for 45 minutes and I want to go to lunch. Terrific. Text me and we'll talk about that. We'll figure it out. Right? I can adjust things, but I'm telling you, it's freedom. So I don't have to chase you for the appointment. You're the one who asked for it. I sent you the link, knock yourself out. And I'm not going back and forth for 16 hours going, okay, does Tuesday at 10 work? No. But does Wednesday at 4 work? No. But does Thursday at, no. Here's my calendar. Super easy, super efficient. Guess how much time I just put back in my discretionary time bucket? A whole bunch. right? See what
And
I'm trying to say here
nobody
about
else
the
sees
calendar?
rest of your calendar. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, everything goes in my calendar. Everything that's important to me goes in my calendar. And by the way, I already know about myself. I'm not good with idle time. I will futz around. I will get nothing done. I will scroll. I'll read books. I'll do things that I'm like, that wasn't actually on the agenda today. Oh, well, you know what wasn't on the agenda today? Whatever wasn't in my calendar, because I'm only going to do for sure everything that's in my calendar. So I know this wasn't a time blocking thing. I want to go back to our buckets, but that's my sideline about working. If you regulate what you can do in your life, then you can regulate. Yeah, that's very good. You want to talk about it, Bernie?
Eisenhower matrix, never heard of it.
Yeah. So Bernie, you can share.
So the Eisenhower matrix is about urgent, not urgent, important, and not important. And it divides up those things that come our way into 4 groups. And so really as things come our way, you can plan your calendar what you want to accomplish. And then there's the things that come at us. And you can use the Eisenhower matrix to both of those. Like,
Yep.
you know, a lot of times on our team, things happen. Our business is very reactionary, no matter how much you try to be proactive in it.
Yeah.
So our team, we're constantly talking about carving out your time for prospecting. Well, if I've carved out, you know, at 3 o'clock today to do my prospecting, but, you know, my number 1 target calls me and says, I can meet you for coffee right now. Of course, I'm going to go on that meeting. So that's like, it's reactionary, right? But that would be what I would call an urgent and important task. Like I would probably clear my calendar to go do that. Whereas, you know, there's stuff that's like urgent but not important, meaning somebody, you know, pings you at the last minute, but you have to decide, is it urgent and important? Is it not urgent and not important? And I think the other thing is when we're called on, I think human nature is we want to be needed. And so there's this natural reaction to wanting to say yes. Yes, I want to do that. Yes, I'm going to take care of that. And I think it goes hand in hand with that natural desire and also avoidant behavior. I think we tend to, as humans, avoid the hard things. So if I have prospecting, you know, circled out on my calendar, but somebody wants to do something with me that seems more important or more fun, I'm going to find a way to not do those things.
Right.
But Eisenhower's matrix actually breaks it out into 4 quadrant, and it kind of gives you a definition of what each one of that, what urgent and important, urgent and not important, not important and not urgent, what each of those would fall into. So basically urgent and important, the only thing that hits urgent and important is something with a deadline or a consequence. So if I don't do this, there's a consequence, or I have to get it done by a certain time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can find, you know what? I'll find an image of it and I could put it in the chat if you guys want.
Yeah.
I'll find
That's
it.
awesome. That's awesome. And it's actually a really good visual for you to stamp in your head for when you're fielding some of those calls, right? And by the way, the same thing can happen. You can get completely derailed by your family. And I don't know if you have this experience, but I have a thought when I have all 4 grandkids at our house, all 4 of them have a question or a demand all together ongoingly the entire time they're here. Hey G, can we do this? Hey G, can we do this? Hey G, I was wondering. Hey G, okay, I hate my name. I'm back to that mom mode again, right? And you don't need anything. You have everything you need. Go outside and play. Go do this. Finish that project. Clean up that game, right? I feel like this great puppeteer. And it's like, okay, no, I'm not taking your non-urgent, not important nonsense. Go away and satisfy yourself. You'll be fine. And sometimes I think we can say those same things to adults. And I think we have to have different words for that, right? Because you don't want to minimize somebody, but you can control, like, I'll give you a good example in our industry. When I used to be a designated broker, my agents knew, hey, if you need something, you can reach out to me, but leave me the information. Because if you're calling me at a time that I'm not going to answer, leave me as thorough of an explanation of what you need, and I will respond to you. Without fail, I responded to every one of them. And my response could be, awesome, totally understand, let's talk tomorrow. Meaning, you either didn't convey that it was actually an emergency, or I read it and I was like, yeah, it's not an emergency. You got a response. You weren't left blown in the wind. I don't think you have anything to worry about. I'll call you in the morning. Okay, that's fine. I'm still controlling my calendar. I'm not ignoring people. And I'm not pissing off clients. I'm not pissing off my agents. I might piss them off, but they'll get over that, right? because they'll understand, oh, you're right, it wasn't catastrophic. If you're calling me about a title issue on Saturday morning, guess what I can't do? I can do nothing until Monday morning. You know why? Because I don't control title and they don't control anything else either, right? So it's the same. If you start looking at these things, you'll start to understand some of this. We're getting close to the end. And so I want to just kind of go back to our buckets of working, sleeping, eating, discretionary, and then distraction. I want to really encourage you guys to look at how much time is really in your distraction bucket and how much time you realize you're cheating yourself from the discretionary bucket. Because when you realize that your little distraction bucket is getting fuller, really what's happening is in the same degree, your discretionary is shrinking because you're sucking time away from something that was important. Sleeping, eating, working, we already have just established those. Those are basic human needs, right? Things that we need to do to supply the rest of our life. So if we're looking at that, really the two moving buckets most of the time are distraction and discretionary. And so if my distraction bucket's getting full, I'm robbing myself from what could be going in my discernment time, right? My discretionary time, the time that I want with my family, with my friends, to enjoy hobbies, to enjoy, like, I'm not saying you have to regulate every minute, but I regulate every minute so that I don't waste a minute. That's the idea behind this concept. Because if we roll back up to the very top of this discussion and we talk about our mathematical equation, we have a limited number of time. We have a limited number of hours. We have a limited number of days, weeks, and months, and we have a limited number of years. So if you start realizing this, I used to ask my agents, and I've done this a lot with my coaching clients, figure out your quarter hourly rate. So if you take a transaction and you got paid $10,000 and you can say, gosh, this whole thing was easy peasy and I only worked 5 hours, right? So take $10,000 and divide that by 5, right? That's how much your hourly rate was. Divide that by 4 and figure out what your quarter hourly rate was. So for every 15 minutes of time you are blowing and wasting, you are not earning whatever that number was. Will's just going to say that your quarter hourly rate is $500 an hour. So if I take $500 and I divide that by 4, that's $1.25 an hour, right? $125 an hour. For every 15 minutes that I'm not doing something productive with my work time, I just blew the opportunity to earn $1.25 for 15 minutes. If you have an exceptionally difficult transaction and it goes on forever, you might figure out that your actual hourly rate is $1.25, right? So it's gonna balance, but then you're gonna go, well, my quarter hourly rate comes down to, what is that? I don't know, 37.5 cents or something like that. So here's what I'm just saying. Understand how valuable your time is, understand where you want to spend your time, and understand that you're the only one who can conceivably control how your time gets allotted, right? There are interruptions. I get it. That is life. But in general, like if your whole life is a constant disaster and out of control, I'm just going to be bold and say, that's on you, bro. Like you're out of control and you need some help, because we should not always be living in a reactionary mode. There are some parts of our life that we should be able to count as stable and secure and say, hey, these are the things that I ascribe to. The Habits book, Atomic Habits, they talk about habit stacking. There's some really good things in that book that can help you like maximize your time. It's not really a book about time as much as it's a book about how you're actually operating. But I just really want to encourage you to look at your discretionary bucket and show some serious gratitude for that, and look at your distraction bucket and actually show some gratitude for that, because I think you can look at it and say, hey, it's easier than I think to move stuff from this bucket to this bucket. And it doesn't take a lot of effort. Calendly, Cindy, it's CALENDY, CALENDLY.com. And they have a free subscription that you can sign up, and it's really free, and it allows you to set it up however you want to. You can go in the whole back end and set it up and create your happy little link. Then you create a link in your, a shortcut in your phone, and it's easy peasy. When someone wants to schedule, you just hit in my place, CCC, you can do what you want, right? And then that will automatically auto-populate and you hit send. Like your life just got so much easy. That's an easy little tool that helps you control it. Put things in your calendar, right? By the way, there's something really beautiful, and I meant to say this earlier about things being in your calendar. How many of you are checklist people?
Love 'em.
How many of you love a good checklist? How many of you love to check the box on it when you complete something? How many of you love that when you did something that wasn't on your checklist, you wrote it on the checklist and checked the box? Come on. That, you know why? Because we like achievement. We like to know that what we did mattered and the work, time, and effort and energy that we spent was useful, right? And so we like that. We like that picture. Here's Jaylene pulling out her thing. That a girl. Add to it.
Really, I've been sitting here just writing off, listening, actively listening, but also crossing off the stuff that I accomplished last week and then starting a new checklist.
There we go. Right? Right. Because we like that achievement. I mean, we're driven. If you are in this industry and even had a modicum of success, the reason you did it is because you feel good about what you're doing and you like it and you want to know that what you're doing matters. And so when you can put something on your list and you can check that box, there is a shot of dopamine that goes right to your little head and you're like, woohoo, it's a party in my house, right? Like these are good things for you. And so I'm just saying, if we can change some of our mental health and some of our viewpoint about how we feel about regulating our schedule, and recognizing that we have a limited amount of time and that our priority really is spending each moment as vigorously and well lived as possible, then I think there's a level of satisfaction. When you have a level of satisfaction, miraculously, you sleep better. When you start eating better, you sleep better, you feel better while you're working, you have more energy to do the work you need to do so that you can start to steal things away, minutes, hours, doesn't matter, from the eating, sleeping, working bucket and put into discretionary. But you can't steal them away if you're not doing the right things in those other categories. And if the distraction category is filling up, that's an indicator. Okay, time out. Let's go back, re-sift things, rejuggle, figure it out, put it where it should go, and then start forward. And there is no better time to do this than today. And if tomorrow you've goofed it all up by that 24-hour gig, then you know what? There's no better way to start it than tomorrow. Like, figure it out. Give yourself some mercy and grace. It is fluid. And it's unrealistic for me to say, oh, I live this perfect life with my calendar. That is hogwash. And I put everything in my calendar. And by the way, if I don't get it done, I move it to the next day. I don't kill myself over like, oh, I'm such a loser. 3 days in a row, I haven't gotten all my stuff done. Okay, well then evaluate what you did do with your time. Was it valuable? Was it worthy? Or did you actually dump a bunch of stuff in that that distraction box, right? So just work, but be mindful of it. Pay attention because you do have all of us have a very limited amount of time. And nobody ever says at the end of their life, I wish I would have worked more. I wish I would have been absent from my friends and family more. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. I'm going to just go on a line and just say, everybody says, I wish I would have done something different. I want to get you to this place in your life where you can say, hey, listen, I gave it my best shot. I wasn't perfect, but I worked really hard at that. That's the kind of life. My grandma used to tell me that, not to live with regrets, because the only thing regrets do is makes you relive bad things in your life. So instead, be intentional and say, listen, I goofed that up. I can start again. There's no shame in the, start over point. It doesn't mean it takes you backwards. It halts you from going the wrong way and projects you into the future. It doesn't say, oh, you've made all this progress and you screwed it up, so now we got to go way back here and start again. That's not true. It's a stopping and starting point. So stop looking at like, oh, I didn't satisfy all the things I wanted to do as massive failure. Look at it and say, geez, at least I'm aware of it and I stopped that and I can go forward. So I just want to encourage you to make every minute count. I think people are important. Your family is important. Yep, we have some necessary things that keep our survival going, work, eat, sleep, that kind of stuff. but don't forget to just give yourself that kind of freedom. So that's all I have to say about that. Actually, I could probably talk another hour, but I'll stop. Any thoughts from anybody?
Yeah, just the one thing when I have coaching clients that are having an issue with this, I have them I give them a sheet where it's 15 minutes from start to finish of the day. And for 2 weeks, they fill that out. One of two things happens. They have this aha moment saying, oh, here's my distractions, or they don't want it to look that way. So they behave the way they're supposed to, and they have a really good week.
Yeah. Yeah. Time journaling is really very exposing one way or the other. It's good. It's very, very good.
Awesome.
All
That was a
right.
great day. Thank you so much.
Well, love each one of you. Super happy to see your lovely faces today. Thanks for coming. Next Monday, we'll be back.
Thanks,
Have a great week. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.